How it's going to turn out could go either way. It really depends. So hard to really specifically predict, but the patterns are there enough to be able to see that, okay, are we going to be on that track, or what are we going to do? And I think we're at a point now where there's so much creativity and so much possibility. It's like having a PhD in your pocket if you use AI in the right way. So I think a lot of the global issues and problems will be solved. My concern is, and this is why I'm very adamant about, why I wrote the book and why I want to be speaking to leaders and things like that, is that we really need to infuse it with values. And if we train AI to care about humanity and human beings, then we're going to be fine. We're not going to go down that Terminator route, a dystopian route. And it involves all of us using AI and being very proactive and mindful of how we're using it, how we're training it, what we're using it for, how we're speaking to it even.
Welcome to AI Today with Lou Bortone, your source for the latest and greatest AI tips, tools, and trends. Get ready to get wicked smart. Here's Lou Bortone.
Hey, it's Lou Bortone. Welcome back to AI Today. I am here with my friend Karin Volo. Hi, Karin.
Hi, Lou. Great to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Now, this is interesting because we've known each other for a while online for many years. And then we reconnected because we realized we were both in this AI certification class, which is pretty cool. So how did you come to be in that AI class, and how did you sort of get into AI to begin with?
Well, that's a little bit of a story. We were talking about getting into some personal stuff, so I'll just keep it quick on that. But when AI came out in GPT launched in November 2022, I actually got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in January 2023. So I didn't know anything about AI. I disconnected from everything and just focused on my health and getting well, and got through that. And coming out of that, I started realizing, what is this AI thing? I was kind of afraid of it, didn't know much about it. And then ended up taking, a sprint class on AI. And the more I got into it, the more I realized this is going to change everything in the workplace. And I specialize in culture and trust and working with companies and so when the opportunity came up for the certification, I was in the first cohort, I guess you could call it. And just dove in and realized, this is going to have such a big impact. I need to really understand it. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And just so folks know, I mean, this is not like, oh, I'm going to go on a webinar for an hour and get certified. This is like a year-long, very intense process.
5 hours. I counted it. It was about almost 10 hours a week of studying different, because I was taking a couple of other classes at the same time. But it was literally like a part-time job for almost a year, like you said.
Well, I'm glad we reconnected there. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do with companies and culture and things like that.
Yes, I've specialized in this for a long time. I wrote a book in 2012 called Engage, and that was really the catalyst for starting my company, which is now called Evolution. And I've been supporting leaders, CEOs, and HR in terms of cultural transformation, leadership development, personal growth and development inside the company, and organizational development. And then ended up starting with engagement and did a certification training for people on that, and then ended up getting into trust and got very deep into that. I do a lot with neuroscience and have great tools that I teach people. And then, like I said, I had that pause and I had to just shut everything down completely. So now coming back from that, I added AI to it. So it's kind of culture, trust, and AI, the areas that we specialize in. And I built a great team that, can work with companies to support and go through AI transformation, but then also be able to work with the culture and the people as well.
That's really cool. And it's interesting because I know you're sort of at the intersection of trust and AI and culture. And some people, who are new to AI may think trust and AI is not an oxymoron. How do you broach that?
Well, the funny thing, I'm so glad you asked that question, because when I started working with culture, it ended up coming down to trust. If you have a high level of trust inside of a company with your people and your teams, then things happen really fast. So it saves a lot of time and money, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm seeing the exact same pattern happening with AI. There's a lot of companies out there that people don't necessarily trust. Do they have the right values? And actually, at the end of 2025, I ended up writing a book in 3.5 weeks called AI Dystopia or Utopia. The choice point for humanity is now. And it's all about leaders making the right choices and really infusing AI with the right values. And I think we're at a choice point right now with humanity. Which way is it going to go? Could go either way. I'm cheering on for the utopian version of the world that I want to create.
Yeah, so, and the book is out now, and folks can get that on Amazon and places like that.
Yep. You can just
Tell us,
find it, Google my name, Karin Volo, Volo.
and tell us a little bit more about the book and kind of what brought you to that point of writing it. And
I ran an AI summit in September last year. And after that, this book just came to me and I just started playing with it. And I have written business books before and it's taken a long time. And I was using AI. AI did not write the book, but I used the right tools in the right places. And I was shocked at how quickly it came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a fun process to go through. And that's the thing. You can do your stuff as an individual human being, whatever you're going to do. And, you can be as productive as you can as an individual. You leave it to AI and it's going to do a lot of great things, but it's also going to come out with a lot of slop is what the term we're using nowadays, AI slop. But you combine the two and then you really can be in a very powerful position. And I think that's where, any entrepreneurs, any leader of a company, they can really tap into that by combining. You always have to have human in the loop, as you know, because we were really trained that. And, when you do both of those things, using your workflows or your process and then add AI to it, then it becomes a really powerful match.
Wow. Yeah. And I know the authenticity part of it is really a little bit of a slippery slope, because I'll even do things now and people say, oh, is that really you? Or is that, is that Sora or something else? So when you go into a company, how do you, if they come to you and say, okay, we know this AI thing is a tsunami, we got to get on board. What are the first kind of things you do with the company?
Well, as we're all trained in the AI consulting world, we start with assessments. We look at, where they're at, how far they've come, what they need to do. And then from there, we can start to implement and, take them through that process. I think 2025 was really a year of everyone experimenting and getting comfortable with it. And I do believe that this year is going to be the year of actual solid implementation. But there's, we've got all these new startups and it's just the next shiny object and the next tool and what do you use? And it gets overwhelming for people, which is why, working with AI consultants can be very helpful because they can shorten that process really significantly, and recommend certain tools for certain processes.
Yeah, it is really overwhelming. I know we try to keep up with the tools, and it's almost like, I know we remember the space race in the 60s. It's like, okay, well, Anthropic and Google and Grok and, everybody's sort of throwing everything that they can at it. And then I hear a lot about the AI bubble. Do you think that it's like that, internet startup was many, many years ago, or is this a different process altogether?
Great question. And I love it because I did write a chapter on this. And, that's a chapter in my book. And time is going to tell. There are definitely patterns that are very similar to the dot-com bubble that we went through in the early 2000s, 99, 2000. So the patterns are definitely there. How it's going to turn out could go either way. It really depends. So hard to really specifically predict, but the patterns are there enough to be able to see that, okay, are we going to be on that track or what are we going to do? And I think we're at a point now where there's so much creativity and so much possibility. It's like having a PhD in your pocket if you use AI in the right way. So I think a lot of the global issues and problems will be solved. My concern is, and this is why I'm very adamant about, why I wrote the book and why I want to be speaking to leaders and things like that, is that we really need to infuse it with values. And if we train AI to care about humanity and human beings, then we're going to be fine. We're not going to go down that Terminator route, a dystopian route. And it involves all of us using AI and being very proactive and mindful of how we're using it, how we're training it, what we're using it for, how we're speaking to it even.
Yeah. And I love the trust thing. I talk a lot about that because I have a whole talk on loyalty and things like that. But how do you, if you're going into a company, how do you assure them like, okay, we're not just abdicating everything to AI. Yeah, we're going to keep you, as front and center.
I think most people are realizing that now. AI is great. It can do a lot for you, but you have to have, AI can get you 70% there, 80% if you're really good at it. And then basically that other 20% is essential. But if you think of it, it frees up your time.
Yeah.
so that you can focus in on other things that you love. I think once we're going to have a couple of really chaotic years because things are getting disrupted. Our old systems, industrial-based systems, are crashing and burning. That's why it looks so chaotic right now, and it's everywhere. It doesn't matter what country, doesn't matter what the system is. I mean, these systems are crashing and burning. What
Yeah.
you don't hear so much if you just follow, say, solely mainstream media or whatever, is that there's pockets of new innovation, new ideas coming up.
Mhm.
Once we get through this chaotic period, I do believe that we're going to go through a massive renaissance period. It's going to be, that's my utopian version anyway,
Yeah.
that we're going to have a tremendous amount of creativity, and it's going to be just this explosion of art and videos and music and all
Mhm.
sorts of different things.
Yeah, I love that because oftentimes I think, oh, maybe what would it have been like to live in Florence during the Renaissance and, have Michelangelo's working down the street. But I do think that, it can go that way if we're careful and if, all the right pieces fall into place. From a practical standpoint, when you work with companies, are there specific tools that are sort of must have? Well, I'm sure it depends on the situation, but what kind of tools, AI tools, do you use in your work?
So, I mean, with companies, most companies are either kind of in the Google world or in the
Mhm.
Microsoft world. And so they're
Yeah.
working with those different solutions. And there's like a whole
Yeah.
menu or category or whatever, a
Yeah.
bunch of different tools that come with that packaging. For myself personally, there's different types of tools that I love. I mean, you have to find your favorite LLM. It helps when they have the memory. So I
Yeah.
do use ChatGPT a lot just because it knows me so well. However, in doing the research for my book, I started really working a lot with Claude because they have a good values, and I believe in the values of the leaders of that company. But they don't have the memory, which is unfortunate because otherwise I would switch over. So maybe that'll change. Hopefully that'll, get up to speed. So, it's finding the right LLM that you really love to work with and go from there. And then it just depends on what your work is.
Right.
I do videos, like you're in the video world too. So it's finding the right video that you like to use for that, the editing, all of those things. It's just so much easier now.
I know, it's crazy.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. I inadvertently shut my website off at the first of the year. I'm like, okay, I had to basically rebuild it from scratch. But using Gamma and some other tools, I did it in a half an hour. That used to take
Wow,
months.
that's great. Yeah, Gamma's one of my favorites too, because I do a lot of presentations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the days, when I did webinars, it would take me 3 days to do a PowerPoint. And now it's like, boom, wow. So again, none of this is just copy and paste, but it sure does give you a head start.
And I want to encourage people who are listening to be really mindful of when you use a tool and you find a tool that you really like, you use it well, be cognizant of the amount of time that you're saving and use that time to do something you love to do. That's the whole purpose of this. So whatever the thing is that you love to do, spending more time with your family, taking walks, creative endeavors, whatever it is, just be mindful to take that time versus keeping on going and going and going because you're so productive.
Yeah. I've run into the trap of like, I'll have ChatGPT open and I'll have Claude open another tab and I'm going back and forth. Sometimes I forget what I put where and so it's just a whole new world. Any other advice that you would give to business owners who are finally, dipping their toes in the water and committing to it?
Yes, they need to do it and do it quickly to get up to speed. They do not want to miss the boat because they will not be able to keep up, basically. I think most people are hearing that already or have heard it. The AI is nothing to be afraid of.
Right.
It's a tool. We can use it. We can use it to our benefit. And the more that we use it and train it, the better it's going to get for each person. So I think that's really important. I've done a lot of trainings over the last couple of years with AI as I got into it. And initially there was this resistance. People didn't want to do it. And then you start to experiment with it. And then you get to the point of curiosity, like, oh, if it can do that, what else can it do? And so it just keeps you going. And it's so funny to see people going from, I don't understand it, I don't want to work with it, I don't want to do anything, to, wow, I'm hooked. What else can I do?
Yeah, I love it.
It's a fun journey.
Because when I teach AI, my favorite moment is when somebody just goes like, oh my God, how did you do that so fast? Or how did you do that so well? Yeah, we got to, it's the train has left the station, so you better get going. Where can folks find you and get in touch with you and most importantly, get the new book?
Yeah, so I'm most active with social media on LinkedIn. You can find me easily there. Just search for me and connect there. That's great. My company website is the best site. It's Evolution, which is spelled EVOLOSHEN.com. And then I have my personal site as well, Karin Volo, and Karin with an I, KARINVOLO.com. So those are kind of the three main best places to reach me. And then
Awesome.
obviously the book is on Amazon and, available. So if you Google, you'll find it.
Yeah, I had to go get it. And it's so funny because I had those same nightmares of, utopia, dystopia. I'm like, okay, where are we going with this?
Well, what was really fun in writing this book is I bring a lot of other perspectives that I haven't seen out there. So I talk about the return of the feminine, how we need to have the feminine involved in training AI. I talk about the sacred and talk about ancient societies and the patterns there. And like everybody has predicted this time, we're living in the most exciting time to be live.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of fear, there is a lot of uncertainty. But if you can keep yourself, and then I get into the neuroscience, if you can keep yourself self-regulated and grounded and focus in on, gratitude and appreciation and things that, make you happy, you're going to get through this period of, chaotic transition that we're going through at this point. And just, I think my encouraging message for everyone is just, let's create this utopian world together and really focus in on that, because it really becomes a choice point for each of us individually. But collectively, if we're all choosing that, we got it made.
Amen to that. Thank you so much, Karin. It's a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And we look forward to checking out the book and staying in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou.
Welcome to AI Today with Lou Bortone.
All right, let's talk about something that's on a lot of creators' minds these days, making AI work for you without it being, a huge headache. We're going to dive into a tool called the AI Playground. It's built to be a super simple content sidekick, and we're here to see if it really cuts through all that complexity. You know that feeling, right? You open up some powerful AI tool, and you just freeze. There are so many options, so much jargon, and you feel this pressure to write the absolute perfect prompt. It's like a kind of AI paralysis. And trust me, you are not alone in feeling that way. But what if it didn't have to be like that? What if getting started was actually simple? Well, that's the whole idea, the entire philosophy behind the AI Playground. It's a space that's been designed from the ground up for creators, people who want to focus on their big ideas, not on becoming prompt engineering wizards just to get a good sentence out. Okay, so let's break it down. What is this thing really? At its core, the Playground is a content companion app. And the keywords here are super simple. It's intentionally designed to be a really gentle, but still super effective on-ramp into the world of making content with AI. Now this is maybe the most important part to get. In a world where every tool is trying to be more complex, this one leans the other way. It's basic on purpose. And that's not a weakness, it's its greatest strength. It lets you build confidence and see results right away, without that steep, frustrating learning curve. But hey, don't mistake basic for weak. The promise here is that there's a lot of power just under the surface, ready to go when you are. And this whole simple approach, it goes way beyond just the app itself. It's actually a whole creative toolkit designed to keep you going. See, this isn't just a tool you download and then forget about. Nope, it's an ongoing resource. Every single month, fresh content and new strategic ideas get delivered right to you inside the app. And what you get in that monthly drop is where the real magic happens. You get a quick win idea for that fast, easy piece of content you need right now. You get a full video script ready to shoot. You get 4 detailed prompts you can just copy and paste anywhere. And on top of all that, you get access to exclusive trainings. It's a whole creative package delivered right to your digital doorstep. So, what does that all add up to? It means you can finally solve that dreaded, what on earth am I going to post today problem. Instead of being just another piece of software you have to figure out, it basically becomes your content plan for the entire month, all done for you. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, sounds good, but what's the catch? Is the setup going to be a total nightmare? Well, keeping with that whole simplicity theme, getting started is designed to be ridiculously fast. I mean, look at this. The process is exactly this simple. You just go to the app site, pop in your name, email, and a password, and that's literally it. You are in. No hoops to jump through, no waiting for approval. And that's the whole point. You're logged in automatically, and you can start playing around immediately. It's all about removing friction, getting rid of those little roadblocks that stop you from doing the fun part, actually creating something. Okay, so you're inside. What now? Well, this is where the flexibility comes in. The playground gives you 2 different ways to use the AI prompts, and it's great because it's designed to meet you wherever you are on your AI journey. It's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure. So option 1, if you're already comfortable using tools like ChatGPT or Claude, awesome. You can just grab those 4 monthly prompts, take them over there, and you're good to go. But if you're a little newer to all this, there's option 2, a custom-built guide that holds your hand a bit more and gives you a really structured, supportive experience. So beyond those awesome monthly content drops, how does this thing actually grow with you? How do you make it feel like it's yours? Well, that all comes down to personalization. And this is a total game changer. You can actually feed your own unique brand voice into the companion. What that means is the content it helps you generate will actually sound like you, not like some generic AI robot. Every single piece of content becomes uniquely yours. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. You're not just handed the keys and left on your own. The platform is packed with those exclusive tutorials, and you get a direct line for questions and help when you get stuck. It's about building a whole support system, not just selling you a piece of software. So when you put it all together, the simple process, the monthly plan, the personal support, the whole focus shifts. You stop worrying about how to use the tech, and you start getting excited about what to make with it. So really, the only question left to ask is, what will you create first?